Welcome to Day 3 of the Copenhagen Climate Conference. This is Ellen and I'm Amanda from the Australian Youth Climate Coalition. We're doing a brief update today to tell you a bit about some of the developments in the policy and also to tell you what we're doing to influence the negotiations.
So you may have heard in the news recently this so-called scandal of the Danish text. So this is something that was leaked to UK newspaper The Guardian, and they're suggesting that there is a separate negotiating text that has been worked on by the UK, the US and Denmark, which is outside the UN process. A lot of developing countries were pretty angry about this because it had some things in it that weren't really favourable to them. But we think it's mostly hype, and we really hope that this so-called scandal doesn't detract from the UN process, which still has the best chance of getting us a fair, binding and ambitious deal that we need.
So there's been some really positive developments in the last 24 hours as well. The UK, for instance, has called on the EU to go up to their 30% reduction target, and they've said that they'll go to their upper limit, which is a 42% reduction in emissions. Also, now all major developing countries have put targets on the table, which is really positive. Particularly Indonesia's put forward a really strong target. But interestingly, just an hour ago, Tuvalu has suspended the negotiations. So negotiations are suspended at the moment, and we're not really sure what will happen.
So we've been doing a lot here to influence the negotiations. Just yesterday we did an action inside the conference centre. So we did a bed-in against climate change, and that was on the 29th anniversary of John Lennon's assassination. So we sung "Give Youth a Chance," so giving us a chance of a safe climate future. And the great thing was that that was featured on the front page of Reuters, so it received international media coverage. The other thing that happened yesterday, which was great, was that Christina, who's one of our Pacific Island youth delegates, she's from the Solomon Islands, she was actually invited to give a speech to the plenary, to all the negotiators. She gave an amazing speech.
I was born in 1992. You have been negotiating all my life. You cannot tell us that you need more time.
And we've also just heard that Kevin Rudd might include some of the text from that speech in a letter that he's sending to all world leaders. That's how impressed they were with the speech. And the third thing was that we met with Louise Hand, the Chief Australian Negotiator, this morning, and we told her everything that we're doing, and we'll have an ongoing dialogue with them.
We're concerned that the Liberal Party still doesn't seem to have a policy on climate change. Tony Abbott is criticising international negotiations and domestic policy without providing any sort of alternative. So stay tuned for our dynamic and exciting response in the next couple of hours.
And lastly, the best thing you can do to support action on climate change this weekend is to attend Walk Against Warming. So there's walks and rallies happening all over Australia, so check out the one that's closest to you. There'll be huge ones, especially happening in Melbourne and Sydney, and now is the perfect time to show the Australian government that there is broad support for stronger action on climate change. So get down to Walk Against Warming. Stay tuned for our other updates. We'll be sending these to you every 2 days, and especially look out for our email today on how you can make a big impact in climate negotiations. See ya!
Bye!